Oh, Jason, Mohammed, Joshua De Silva, thank you so much for joining us on the PowettPlay Podcast. We really appreciate you taking your time to come out and obviously join us on the podcast after you both had, fantastic seasons individually, but also as well for Trinidad and Tobago. So we just wanted to sort of dive in and sort of discuss sort of your season really and how you both found it.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Fortunately, you guys didn't have to play against me this season, so Trinidad went a lot closer than you have for a long time. But let's start with you, Josh. I'm obviously captain of the Trinidad and Tobago team. How do you think the season went, and what do you think was sort of a difference or turning point based on the performances this year as opposed to recent years before this?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. I love the setup. Looks really good. Looks like a nice space there. Too bad we're all in Trinidad, so we can't get in there. But it was really good. The season we had was a lot better than the previous seasons, as you mentioned. And I think the change was just after all those years, we kind of learned of what we did wrong, what we needed to work on, different aspects of the game. Riyadh came in and brought a different vibe, a different environment. He definitely told us when we were doing, not sure if I could say a bad word, but doing some shit. So he definitely brought a different vibe, and I think Jason could also say that as well. But yeah, personally for me, it was a good season. Scored 300, scored 550 plus, right? I think it was 580 something. So yeah, I think carry pair was exceptional. He was somebody with the ball he could always turn to, and he brought wickets. He didn't get the most amount of wickets in the previous years he would have liked to, but he always bowled well, which is really good. We had Brian Charles, didn't get the wickets he wanted, but was always helping, always there to bowl overs. Probably not as many overs as he would have liked this season, but still somebody who we depended on very much. And yeah, it was a really good season for us. We came really close. We didn't have to play you, thankfully, scoring a 200 plus strike rate and taking the game away very quickly. But it was good. It was a great season. Barbados nipped us for second, which is unfortunate. Guyana played really good cricket. I think they went unbeaten. I'm not sure, but they were the team for the last few years. They've been playing the best red ball cricket in the region, and it shows. So, it was really good for us.
Do you think that losing, obviously, both of your main fast bowlers for that last round or last two runs, I'm not sure which one it was, affected your chances of obviously pushing for the championship that in a way that you'd have probably preferred to?
Yeah, for sure. We knew it was going to happen. We didn't have them for 3 games this season. The first game and the last 2, which was unfortunate with the business end of the tournament. Jaden and Andy bring something to the table. In my opinion, they're 2 of the best in the Caribbean. Jaden is definitely the best in the Caribbean when it comes to red ball cricket, and Andy is just a workhorse. He gets the ball to move on wickets that don't really move that much. He's somebody who's given Trinidad cricket a lot, and he's showing the rewards for it now. We saw in the A-team game what he's capable of. He got a fifer and got his way into the test series for Australia, which is really good to see. We know what he's capable of. But yeah, the depth we had after both of them, it was definitely a blow to us in that department. And I feel if we had both of them, we would have had a much better chance of taking home the title.
Jason, obviously somebody I've known for a very long time, played on the 19s. I'm sure we played on the 15s. We probably pitched marbles in school together. I've known you that long. It's for me personally, it's good to see someone like yourself be able to have the type of season you did. Obviously being a senior player in the Caribbean, and someone that's performed year in, year out across formats, because for me, it's very rare that you find players that are players that perform both with red ball and white ball. So for you, what was it like going through this season and being able to achieve the heights that you were able to obtain?
Thanks for having me. I think in terms of my performance, I think I'm retired now, but obviously I always wanted to have the opportunity to play Test cricket. I know that this year would have obviously been my last year. I put in a lot of work in terms of my batting, but more so my fitness to be able to concentrate if I was to field first, even batting first, to be able to have some big scores. And I think it's not only this year, I think I've been doing well over the years, but obviously this year will stand out a little bit more, having 4 centuries with a double century in there. and most runs in the tournament. So I guess that was the main things contributed to me in this year in terms of my performance.
So you are officially retired though from regional cricket, is it?
No, from international cricket.
No, I was hoping that's not the case because for me, obviously the selectors and the board always sends a message that there's, I guess, no discrepancy against age. So I was just wondering if anyone would have reached out to you and had a conversation with you as to why you may not have been selected in the test team, given that you had such a stellar season and I mean top in the charts, but not just top in the charts, well over 100 runs more than the next person behind you.
Yeah, I was hoping that someone was going to reach out and say, we're looking at you, we're going to select you, but that was not the case. I had was to reach out to the coach, Darren Sammy, and we had a decent convo, but in the end, as you said before, they always say that age is not an issue, but that was his main message towards me. Hey, we're looking for young people, and because of your age, we're not going to look at you. And it was difficult to take because throughout the season, a lot of people saying I should be played or should be selected for the test team. And, I did a couple interviews, so they obviously know I had the intentions of playing test cricket. But that was not the issue, and that is not his thinking. And as I said to him, I understand all well and good we want to invest into young people, but at the end of the day, you're not guaranteed when you pick a youngster, he's going to be there for 3 or 4 years. It's the same with me. You might pick me for one series against Australia and I don't do well, and that's the end of me. So it was a difficult pill to swallow, but with time, I think it gets a little bit easier, but it's always going to be something that it's in my mind. I think I've done well enough over the years to play at least a game or 2 or a couple of test cricket. And even this year, I thought, it would have been the year, but again, for some reason, I was looked over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I could understand your frustration because you look at other formats of the game, you have guys that are your age playing in the T20 team or in the ODI team, which I guess is more demanding physically when you have to constantly be on the move as opposed to test cricket where you could sort of, ease your way through a day or through a game, not necessarily ease your way through, but, and I mean, I find it interesting that in the Caribbean, someone like yourself would have scored, I guess, over 5,000 runs, 17 first-class centuries, 2 double centuries, has never played a test match, where you find generally guys perform in one format and get selected for another format. So, I mean, I guess it must be pretty frustrating for you. Could you, I guess, address what it would mean to you personally to play a test match for the West Indies?
Yeah, I think no matter what age you are, it's always a dream. And it was always my dream to play test cricket, to be honest. I always wanted to play all 3 formats, but when you hear guys talk about cricket, being called a test cricketer is something a little bit more special than being considered as an ODI player or a T20 player. So even at 38 would have been a dream come true for me. It's something that I've worked a lot on trying to achieve over the last couple of years. As I said, I think I've done well enough to deserve that pick, but for some reason I was overlooked over and over again. And as I said, after this year, I thought finally I would have been given that opportunity, but again, it wasn't good enough. And then if you look at performance or you look at my fitness, I'm always over the bar or requirement in terms of fitness. I'm up there, passing the requirements and then my performance. So to just knock those 2 things off and then just look at age and bring it down to age and say, well, hey, you're a little bit over the bar. I think it's unfair to me because then you select guys to just being young. And I think the game don't demand you being young and demands performance, whether it's bat or ball. So for me, I think having 2 assets that was a plus. I think should have been overlooked in terms of me being overlooked in terms of age. To say, well, hey, this man is fit, he's performing, let's give him a shot, rather than saying he's a little bit over what we're looking for in age and not select him just because of that.
And Josh, I mean, obviously, from your standpoint, going to Pakistan, being vice captain, but not being able to, I guess, break into the 11, something that I guess you'd not have experienced before in your career being in the West Indies team, and now finding yourself completely out of the squad after the season you had. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's disappointing for sure. I think Pakistan was a tough time, but I understood the message that was given. I was told to go back to first class cricket, get some runs under your belt, perform, and yeah, it was different coaching staff, different management, etc. But I still feel the performance that I had um, gave me the opportunity to show that, look, all right, I got the message. I went back to first class cricket. I performed. I showed that where we get selected from, I scored runs. And yeah, I scored 300s, three back-to-back hundreds. It's not just throughout the season. I showed in one game I scored 200s against your home Leeward Islands. But yeah, Warner Park is a great place to bat. So, but at the end of the day, yeah, it was really disappointing. I was not expecting it, but I was hoping that the message, that I understood the message, and I would still be given the opportunity with the experience and the test matches that I've played, and also being vice captain, and then being called for the interviews for captaincy, almost being captain, and then being off the team. It was very difficult.
I mean, when the cats are away, the rats will play. So, congratulations on those 2 back-to-back centuries. But no, for me, looking at your season, Josh, do you feel, I guess, probably a bit disappointed? Because I know you had another 2 opportunities to score centuries where you got maybe an 80-something and a 70-something. Do you think that would have sort of, I guess, slammed the door shut in your favor and not sort of leave it ajar for the selectors to make a call if you made 5 centuries instead of 3?
Yeah, possibly. I think the last game against Guyana, I wasn't thinking about 100. I was thinking about the only way we could have won the trophy was if we won the match. I was thinking, let's get quick runs on the board. I could have easily said, I'm gonna get 23 singles, or I made 70 something. I think, yeah, get 23 singles, get 100, and play for myself. But it's not in my nature to do that. I would feel worse scoring the 100. Yes, 100 is nice. I would have had 4, and I would have been happy. But I mean, I want to give the team every opportunity there is to win a game, to win a trophy. Trinidad hasn't won it for 25 years, so being that close and being there and being able to make that decision, it was no question for me. I wanted to try and win the game. I spoke to Riyad at the tea interval, and I was like, look, if we have a chance, we have 20 overs, let's try. There's no harm in trying. If we don't get it, we don't get it. But at least I can go to sleep, and all of us can go to sleep saying we gave it our best shot. And I do believe maybe if I did score 2 more hundreds, it would have been a little more in my favor. But at the end of the day, I still scored the second most runs in the tournament, and the message was go back and score runs. So yeah, I think it might have been more in my favor, but it still shouldn't be that shouldn't have been the reason again.
And how was, I guess, that captaincy process for you? Because I mean, obviously you'd have been someone that would have been groomed by Cricket West Indies for a few years now, and then the opportunity comes about, having been vice captain and being captain of the A team for a number of years, to completely being jettisoned from the team. I guess story of West Indies cricket. How do you feel about that?
It was hard. I'm not gonna lie. Especially with the last A team series that went on, I thought I would have still been selected for the A team. Even with the season I had and captain in the last 3 A team tours, we went South Africa, went Bangladesh, and there was Bangladesh in the Caribbean as well. So they have told me I'm still in their eyes for the leadership and to groom me in that process. So I guess we'll see if that's an option later on in my career, or yeah, however, maybe I don't expect myself to be out the team for long. I'm going to be working hard. I'm going to be waiting and doing what I need to do for the next opportunity that comes, and I'm going to take it with both hands, because it's I want to play Test cricket. I want to captain West Indies. It's been a dream of mine. So I mean, just work my ass off and try my best.
Gentlemen, just from me, I think before I hand over to Jordan, I mean, obviously it's good to see you all still having that hunger, and I'd like to wish you both the best. I hope that obviously going into the Super 50 tournament, which is a strong suit of Trinidad, 50 over cricket, I hope that you guys take this hunger into that format. And I mean, obviously it's limited time, but whether it is coming not out or getting big scores, not just getting 100, getting 150, whatever the case is, I hope that you guys continue to do that and continue to show versatility and show that performances matter over age, as you rightfully said, Jason. So best of luck to both of you. Continue to perform, continue to keep enjoying your game, because, obviously sometimes it gets a bit disheartening when you perform and, your performances are overlooked. But, people that are really watching the game and understand the game appreciate what you guys are doing for the region, and not just obviously your aspirations as playing for the West Indies, but helping Trinidad cricket and the younger cricketers, the next generation of Trinidadian cricketers come through. So from me, I'd like to congratulate you guys and wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
I just got a couple more questions. One for you, Jason, in terms of obviously the decision to retire. Is that something that you always had in the back of your mind? If it wasn't to be this year, you got selected.
No, I think my retirement came about 2 years ago. I wasn't being selected for West Indies and had an opportunity to go to India for a Legend League. So as much as I didn't want to do it, there was an opportunity to go to India. So I decided to retire and then go to India and have that opportunity, because I wasn't being selected for West Indies. But it's always on the back of my mind here. I have never played Test cricket and I always wanted to. So I know I'd also give it one big last shot, and it went the way that I wanted it to, but fortunately I still couldn't have got it into that Test team.
No, I appreciate that. And Joshua, in terms of obviously your situation, has the communication been there with you in terms of obviously how to get back into say? Obviously, you mentioned there about them go back and score runs. Obviously, missing out now. Have you had a chat with the team there in terms of how to get back into that setup?
Yeah, we had a meeting before they released the team, so we've had the conversations. I understand where they're coming from. I told them my feelings and how I feel about it, and asked them a few questions. And I don't know exactly how to get back in. That wasn't said, but I mean, I'm ready whenever they call on me. I'll be ready for it.
No, Carl. I think me and Kieran spoke a lot on here about communication, and I do. It's not always been positive communication, but at least the communication is there. But again, following on from Kieran, I thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come onto the show, and the way you've been spoke about the passion you both have for the game is it's very inspirational for all cricket fans and people in the Caribbean. So thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
And we've had a good conversation there with Joshua Silva and Jason Mohammed. Obviously, both clearly frustrated, obviously possibly about the situation of not making the Test squad after having superb seasons. But one thing you can't take away from them both is how passionately they both are about playing the game, and and especially from Joshua's perspective about coming back into the setup. Really,
I think from a player's perspective, I could totally resonate with how they feel. I mean, it does get a bit frustrating from time to time when you perform year in, year out. In Jason Mohammed's case, across formats. In Joshua De Silva's case, just being dropped out of the team and then coming and scoring the second most runs only to his teammate, and then being told to go and perform. And when you do have such seasons as both of them did, you don't get selected. I mean, it strips away from you personally as a player. Like it makes you wonder what next, how long, or in the case of Jason Mohammed, if ever. Which is a bit interesting, because you look at the T20 team, you've got the likes of Andre Russell and Johnson Charles, who are both 37, but then Jason Mohammed is just a few months older, and he's being told that he's too old to be in the Test team or whatever the case is. So definitely frustrating for these guys, especially looking sometimes and seeing guys that haven't performed as well as you have getting selected. So I can feel the pain. Personally, it draws me back to darker times. So I'd much rather be where I am at this point in time in life now, than to be going through the struggles of I guess selections and cricket and what's not.
I was touching on it from what you're saying. That how did you, from an advice perspective, how would you sort of give them advice of how to handle something like going through that?
That's where your family, your friends, your circle, and if you're in a good team, your teammates sort of help you to get over that, get past that. It's frustrating. It's hard because as Jason Mohammed would have alluded to, He's put a lot of time into his fitness work to ensure that whether he bats or bowls first, he's fit enough to stand out there for all those overs, for all those days, which means that you're sacrificing time away from your friends, your family, your loved ones. You're grumpy, you're miserable. You know, I've been told that I'm Mr. Grumpy. My wife would be like, "When is the cricket starting again? Just get out of the house." You know, these types of things, because you're so laser focused on performing and getting into a team or getting back into a team, that it takes a toll and an effect on you personally that you don't realize spills over into the lives of the people around you. You know, so obviously these are things that aren't talked about, or you know, that I guess the world doesn't necessarily pay attention to, but these are things that affect the people closest to you even more so than you sometimes. So I'd say to them, obviously, take a break from the game, tap into the people around you, the people closest to you, you know, start having fun again, start enjoying the game again, and get ready for a big push. I
think one of the positives I would say is I'm kind of glad that the board and the management have spoken to Joshua about getting back into the team and the interview process he had for the captaincy side of things, because, you know, when we spoke with Joshua then, communication sometimes doesn't happen, and you're left in the dark and you're left in the lurch and not really knowing as to why you've not made the squad, and ultimately how do you get back in. So I was actually, you know, I was quite happy for him that he's had that, you know, didn't tell him how to get back into the side, but I think that he's got that positive mindset, you know, albeit it was a brief conversation. You can tell that someone's in that positive, more, you know, mindset about that, and, you know, going back and scoring runs, he's done exactly what they asked him to do as well.
Exactly. I mean, he's done his part of the battle, but as he said towards the end, they've not told him how to get back into the team. They've just told him what they want him to do. How long they want him to do that for, if they want to see repeat performances over a second season, to show that you have that hunger. Jason Mohammed said that no one reached out to him at all. He had to reach out to the coach, which is crazy, because if you've got the leading run scorer in a tournament, regardless of age, whatever it is you may think of, you'd think that somebody would reach out to that person,
of course,
and at the very least congratulate them on having the most successful season of all the batters in the tournament. So again, communication pathways seem to be, I wouldn't say necessarily fully opened or fully closed, but they seem to be, you know, it's like when you've got bad weather and the phone lines get a bit scratchy. That's what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's, you know, it was good to get them on, and it's good for them to obviously speak as well about it, because sometimes I imagine in those situations you probably feel like you've got no voice. You know, you, like you said, the family around you and your friends around you become, you know, is he going on about it again? So being able to speak about it and get it off his chest, and, you know, and they probably like speaking to you about, like, they know that you've been there, you've done that, so they probably feel as though, you know, they can relate to you a lot more with it than other people as well. So, you know, it's a good conversation to have with them, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's one of the beauties about having this platform as well, is being able to connect with fellow athletes and them feeling as though it's a safe space, because I would understand what they're going through or they've been through, and being able to put across that message in a manner which is not distorted or used to exploit clickbait or anything. No. You know, it's just genuinely getting someone's honest, open opinion on how they feel about a situation.
That's it. So, and when we're discussing, you know, we're discussing squads and we're discussing selections, we're taking it and we're speaking about it, and we offer, you know, rationale and reasoning towards that. This is not about trying to, you know, say something ridiculous. It's about, you know, thinking about it in the way that the reasons behind it. So, you know, so we do. It's been great. You know, it's good to have them on, and thank you everybody for tuning in and listening to this episode with Joshua Silva and Jason Mohammed. And as we keep saying at the end of every episode, you know, keep commenting, you know, keep liking, keep subscribing to the channel. And we've got plenty more to come and plenty more bits and pieces along the way. So we do appreciate all the likes and subscribes to the channel and the comments. And Kieran will definitely keep getting back to you all, won't you?
100%. Loving the comments. There was a very good conversation.
Yeah, there was
comments from the last video. I think very insightful from that particular
it was,
viewer. So keep them coming.
No, definitely. Well, thank you very much. Cheers.